This week, we're making memories, catching fish, and having a blast on the water.
From tips on how to cast to what baits work best, we've got everything young anglers need to get started.
So grab your gear, let's go. The Kids Fishing Edition on the Texas Insider Fishing Report. It starts now.
Welcome to the Texas Insider Fishing Report. Presented by Yamaha.
Thanks for joining us on the Texas Insider Fishing Report with one of my favorite themes of the season, the future of fishing. Rick, it's all about getting these kiddos hooked on fishing for life and out in the outdoors.
And you know what? We did it with my babies. Now they're 29 and 25.
Not so babies.
And guess what? And we did it with your babies just recently, and it's been a joy ever since. So I can't wait to watch Leo and Mia catch their first personal best in everything that I have to offer.
Me too. It's been amazing. But we have special guests joining us from Rodan later on in the show. And before we see what the kids are catching, let's say hi to our big kid over at the Parts View workbench, Dave Farrell.
Yeah, my boys can't catch a fish in a fish tank. So,
You did them well, Dave.
Little Molly's pretty good at it, but the boys, they didn't have much, no.
No?
No patience.
No patience?
No. Kind of like their daddy.
I was going to say they probably got that from you, but Molly got a lot from you as well. All right, well, there's plenty of catching and fun to be had in the Heroes on the Water Lower Fresh region with Matt Reed, who's given us the kiddos constant action. So, Matt, go for it.
All right, Bray, let's kick this thing off. Tell you what, kids and fishing, that's one of my most favorite things there is in the outdoors. I truly enjoy the opportunity to share time on the water with our youth. You know, kids will evolve as they age. In the beginning, it's all about action. So cater their time towards number of bites. Get you some earthworms or crickets and target bluegill to get the little ones hooked on fishing with plenty of action. As they get more experience, they'll tend to choose a target species. Catfish will grab a portion of them. For best results for those catfish, you know, they'll be using shad, shrimp, or dough bait and have a ton of success. And there's always that dedicated percentage that will decide to chase bass. This requires more patience, but it's definitely rewarding. I love sharing my years of knowledge and helping some of those youngsters become successful. The main thing is let kids be kids and have fun. This will keep them catching for a lifetime. And I've got 3 pictures there of kids at different stages. That first one is actually my grandkids several years ago with a bluegill. That's the action stage. Just let them catch some fish. Then we got Ram Reyes with one of his clients and the little one holding a big old catfish. And that last one is a client of mine named River. He's been fishing with me since he was 9. That picture was along that time. That young man grew through the sport, actually went to college on a 4-year scholarship, and is doing very well in the tournament series these days. That's always a proud moment when you see one of the youngsters, stay with it and get really good at it. So keep them on the water, and there's lots of fun to be had.
All right.
Good job, Matt.
Got some bass. At Fayette County, it's been hot up shallow. The water levels are up, so the fish are staying up there shallow. Top waters, buzz baits are the best choice for those. The deep fish are much more consistent. They're out on the main lake points in that 10 to 25 foot range. Half-ounce shaky heads or Carolina rigs are the way to target those fish. Lake Summerville's been fishing fair. Bass are active early on top waters. Use the Berkeley Bullet Pop around the rocky banks to start your day. Then move out to the brush piles in that 10 to 15 foot range. Those fish are a little pressured, so you'll want to throw a wacky rig stick bait or a real lightweight Texas rig to finesse them, to get them to bite that those finicky fish. Sometimes you have to give them a more finesse presentation. The Austin area lakes have just been reopened from all of the flooding. Travis is only 6 feet down now as opposed to almost 50. Fishing is great up shallow. The fish have moved into the enormous amount of flooded vegetation. Swamp lord frogs and other top waters are working well. Swim baits and Texas rigs are also a good choice. Steelhouse Hollow has 1 ramp open, Union Grove. The fish are loaded up shallow. 5-inch worms and watermelon or green pumpkin are working very well. Frog is also a good choice in that shallow cover. Canyon Lake, all the ramps are now open. It has come up 14 feet. Fishing's really good. Same story, same theme. The new flooded vegetation has tons of food up there, and a lot of the bass have moved to the shallows. So catch them on top waters or flipping plastics into the cavy cover. Got some catfish from down at Falcon. Ram Rez sent reports of trophy catfishing has been really good in that 20 to 30 feet of water on the south end. On the upper end, they're a little shallower at 8 to 12. Live bait or big fresh cut carp is a great choice to catch those, really big blue cat and a few flatheads. The keeper size catfish at 10 to 15 foot of water. Man, there's lots of blue cat to make a good meal. Put some fish in your freezer. Stink bait, shrimp, or small cut fresh shad is the best way to target those fish. There's plenty of catfish. Get out there and get you something to put in the freezer. Got a picture there of one of Ram Reyes' clients with a giant blue cat. That lake has just really got a lot of big catfish.
It sure does. All right, bud, thank you so much. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at the hot spots. Matt says the Austin area is coming alive with shallow fish, and all the new flooded cover, Travis, Buchanan, and Canyon Lake, are all experience the phenomenon. Throw the Berkeley Swamp Lord frog or buzzbaits through the thick green cover, and if they won't feed up, then flip the brush with the Berkeley Maxent Stank Bug. And hold on, Bree.
Stank bug. Hold
Stank
on for
bug.
that stank bug. All right. It doesn't matter how you get the youngins out in the lower coast region, as long as they're out.
Stank
So,
bug.
Captain Kenny, tell us how you keep them reeling with them stank bugs.
I tell you what, I love it. I just fished some kids here. I'll shoot 2 or 3 groups in last week, and I'm like Matt. It is one of my favorite. Luckily, my dad took me fishing every weekend he could, and it brings back a lot of good memories. So I like sharing that with them. But we got a lot of good weather coming up, a lot of great fishing coming up. So talking about the kids, like I said, it's a lot of fun, whether they're your own or if you're on a guided trip, to take them and show them a lot and stuff like that. And I do have parents a lot that ask me, what's the best thing to do, with my daughter or my son or anything else like that. And I always tell them, I said, let's just see what Mother Nature gives us, but go out there, get a good bite early going, which usually happens, get them early, it's a little groggy, but you get them out there and you get a good bite going, you start catching them, keeps them really interested in the fishing. When the bite slows down here in the south, in the lower coast here, then we'll maybe go through the flats, let them see some neat, stuff like that. Look at the birds, look at the dolphins, stuff like that. And then we'll take them up to a little private beach area or something like that. Let them have some fun. It's a great way to spend time, with the families, especially, with the kids on there and the outdoors. If you're taking them offshore, I just had a 2-year-old. I'm a 70-footer offshore literally 2 days ago, which was almost the youngest one I've taken, but it was classic. So the first time, went out there and they're asking, hey, what do you recommend even for the younger kids? 2-year-old won't know, but a 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old. So I always tell the parents, I'm like, look, first of all, of course, pick good weather on offshore. Second, don't medicate them, don't do anything else like that. Just tell them about the good time they're going to have and the possibility of catching all the fish and stuff like that. And let them just do, as nature takes it. They're going to have a great time. You're going to have a lot better odds of them having a lot of fun. And stay next to snapper fishing. Snapper fishing is great. Lots of action on that. So do that when you're taking the kids out, if you're doing that. And give me a call. I'd love to take them out there and do it. So I got a picture here, an old picture. So that's my dad actually in the picture. He's passed away now, but my daughter, she's 17 now, but she was fishing off my dock as a kid. So I thought that was a cool pic that my dad used to take me, and he was taking her out there then when I was out guiding.
Nice.
Dream.
So
So cute.
moving to trout fishing. Trout fishing has been great in the land cut, in the east cut, and also along the long bar of South Padre Island. So basically all those drop-offs and those deeper edges, they've been holding in there and pushing in there. So I think some of that cooler water's moving around that deeper water there. So to talk about the trout, like I said, it's been great along those guts, all those areas I mentioned. So the best way to fish it, if you got a Rodan trolling motor, and just anchor lock it yourself in position to be casting those guts and along the edge of those weed lines. Right now, they're really hitting on those live croaker. We're using a 5 to 6 aught tail hook. The bite's been really early, so get out there, kind of like at daybreak. Right after sunup, it's been really good. If you use some lures, then we've been going to the Gulp Turbo Shrimp. It's working well. Or a Saltwater Assassin Sea Shad is working really good. And you can work these areas along the edges with some tidal movement, especially. If the tide's moving real quick or starts moving up a lot faster, then go farther back in those guts, get off the edges, move your row down, control you back in a little bit here, and throw in the very backwater in one of those flats. When the water's moving out the flats, right when it starts off, those fish will be moving back up in that corner back in there. Offshore fishing, it's really, really picking up. I just love it. My favorite time of year starting right now. So we got red snapper, it's been on fire, and we're getting, it's been excellent. Some billfish are out deeper by the fads and the 100 fathom curve. So snapper fishing, it's always a go-to, especially, like I said, the kids. It's nonstop action. Even kids, adults, anybody, everybody loves it. The blue water's moving in, even in the snapper fishing, so we've been using some jigs to work those suspended fish. So you can try some Savage squish jigs or the Eagle Claw trocar jigs. Works really well. These work really good, especially a combo with like Penn 6500 spinning reel with a blue Carnage jigging rod. It works great on the stuff like that. You got a really fast retrieve, work that middle of the water column. Once you find the depth that they're at, you can count an 8-second, 10-second count, whatever they're going to be at. Find that depth and just repeat it, and you're going to hammer them. Talking about bill fishing, out deeper, it's picked up out deeper. We got some fads out here outside the lower coast. We got 4 or 5 fads out there in about 1,200, 1,300 feet, right past the 100 fathom curve. There's some fish out there moving along that. We're pulling full spreads with some mid-range on the riggers, and we got some chuggers on the flat lines. Our shotgun, we're starting to pretty much use a ballyhoo rigged on it, and you can put a teaser on it also. And we're pulling, as far as tackle wise, we're using 50 to 80 watt Penn Internationals spooled with 50 to 80 pound Berkeley mono on that. There's been some sailfish, white marlin, blue marlin, all in the mix. Basically keep your eyes out for some weed lines, bird activity, or some rips, temp changes, all that stuff like that, everything above. We're patrolling these areas in 7.5 to 8 knots, and it's a lot of fun. Of course, on this stuff, remember, practice, catch, and release. We got a lot of tournaments coming up. I'll be hitting them all here real soon. We got a beautiful picture. These are some guys I haven't talked about, but they've been fishing forever. We got a great pick. They took up a small blue marlin they released. Misdirected charters out of South Padre Island. We got Captain Daniel Cole and Mark Brewer. I appreciate them, getting that to me.
All right, guys, thank you so much for participating with Chad in the Lower Coast region. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the inshore hotspots. He says trout fishing is good in the land cut and east cut, and also along Long Bar out of South Padre, and then offshore. Snapper fishing remains great, and out deeper, the billfish action, it's heating up, Bree.
Well, Rick, like Chad said, let nature take its course, because kids, they're all different. They all have different maturity levels, attention spans, and just because one trip didn't go well, try again a couple months later, because they're constantly growing. And I speak from experience. When we took Leo trout fishing, and he was not okay a few months before that because I was really nervous, and he had a great time, and he loved it.
Yeah.
His attention span was great. He wasn't throwing pliers off the boat. It was wonderful.
He had the thumb of Uncle Ricky.
Yes, he had you too. All right, the Star Trend Middle Fresh Region Guide is coming up next with plenty of tips for the children of the lakes. But first, we're seeing what rigs and techniques Dave Farrell has for us at the Parts View workbench. I'm sure it's kid-friendly.
It's a little wormy over here.
Oh,
we're gonna get.
Here we
gonna
go.
show you how to put a worm on a hook.
Kids love the worms.
All kinds of stuff. Yeah.
All right, we'll be back.
The Texas Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Ameritrail. Load, launch, relax. Fenwick. Feel everything. Bahio. Blue light blocking, radically clear polarized fishing sunglasses. Sportsman's Adventures with Captain Rick Murphy. Fishing for adventure. Berkeley. Your fish, our science. Prosex Smoked Meats. Fuel your day the Texas way. And Skeeter Performance Fishing Boats. Eat, sleep, fish.
Dave, we're here at the Parts View workbench. You know what? And we're talking kids and rigs and techniques, and man, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, they certainly are. Like Matt was saying, you want to optimize when you take your kids with you. You want to optimize your chances to catching anything. You want to keep them occupied, and kids don't care how big or little a fish is. They haven't been trained by us that hard yet to figure out, I only want to catch a big one. Anything they catch is a giant treat for them. And so right off the bat, we just want to get to a place where we know there's fish there. Target areas where that hold fish, like boat ramps and docks and parks where the ladies feed the ducks and there's bread going in the water all the time. There's usually, you can see the brim and stuff. If you can see the fish under the water before you start trying to fish for them, you're gonna, you're going to be exponentially catch more fish.
Show up with a loaf of bread. You got
Correct.
some stale bread.
A loaf of
crunch
bread.
it up, throw it out in that fresh water.
Any kind of bait, really. But bread is great to start them off. But you want to start with bait of some sort. You don't have to cast and retrieve so much. And, you know, a little spin cast rod and reel like this is perfect if you put a bobber on there with some bait.
This is the Shakespeare.
Yeah, that's the Shakespeare spin cast. It's called the Jellyfish.
Oh, nice.
It's a 2-piece rod. And what's great about this 2-piece rod is it's connected by a bungee cord.
So they can't lose the other end.
Can't use the top, which, when I was a little kid, we had a lot of bottoms. We didn't have much tops around. So the top halves, can go away, especially if you're casting really hard when you're a little kid.
Yeah.
The top, and if the line breaks, that's a goner.
Yeah.
So, and the spin cast is great for kids because it's really easy to learn. You push a button, make your arm motion and let go where you want it to go. And it's
that
just
simple.
super
Yeah.
easy for them. You'll know your kids, best. And once they get a little bit more control, they can switch to a spinning reel and then maybe do a bait caster or a bait caster first. It depends on where you are in the country. A lot of guys will start the kids early on a bait caster. And if you're using, any kind of bait, an artificial bait like the gulps are really good. They have scent just like a real, a bait does, and you can, it draws fish from everywhere. You can cut them to the size that you want really easily.
Right.
The kids don't get freaked out from a worm or a cricket,
Right.
This is very innocuous, it just looks like a little piece of something, maybe a piece of bread or something.
Right.
And what's great with a pair of scissors, like I said, you can cut it to match any size hook that you're using.
Like the surf bites can cut to any size.
Correct.
Cool.
And when you're putting it on, like you want to try to get like an Aberdeen hook. This is an Aberdeen by Eagle Claw. The Aberdeen hook is great for kids fishing, mainly because it has a really long shank.
Right.
And when you're fishing for panfish and even catfish and stuff, that long shank, doesn't get swallowed all the way. He's usually down here on the hook end. You have the long shank sticking out. You can grab a hold of that long shank and get the fish off the hook easily.
Right.
And let them go. So if you're going to be putting a worm on, which, we've got a bunch of, there's 30 of them in there, man.
30?
Yeah,
There we go. Now we're good.
They go to the bottom.
Got to go to the bottom.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Keep talking.
So, when you're putting the Aberdeen's also good when you're putting a worm on the hook because it's got that long shank that you can thread the worm all the way up the shank and have him curling around the biting end.
Right.
And you curl him all the way up to the top and then come out the side so that he's wiggling and ready to go.
Right. And got little hang me down there.
Right. And a good bob, you hang that under a bobber, it's great because it gives the kids a visual reference.
Right.
They can watch the bobber. When the bobber goes down, they know to start to reel or wind up or set the hook, that kind of thing. And if you're going to, once they get past, wanting to start using lures, it's great to use little, like some Bass Assassin crappie doppers or their panfish assassin. You put them on a little horse head, jig head, or any kind of little jig head that you've got. And if you're worried about them getting hooked on that heavy jig, you can go ahead and pinch the barb down with a pair of pliers. If it goes in, it comes right back out. It's not even a big deal to them. Make sure you teach them how to make those casts and look behind them and everything. Make sure they're not hooking other people or themselves, which, when I was a kid, I ended up hooking myself more than I hooked up anybody else.
And the one last thing I would add is when they're done, they're done.
Exactly.
Take them home.
Exactly. When it's time to stop, it's time to stop. When they start fussing, go home.
That's it.
Start fussing, get to going.
That's
You're not
right.
going to try that worm, Rick? You always try the
No,
bait
no,
out
no.
over
He
here.
did that.
I
did
did
that
that
once.
last year. I had the worm,
No
and it
worm.
was not bad
You learned
until
your
I bit
lesson.
into it.
Oh, well, there's your problem. All right, Matt Losher is up in the Startron Middle Fresh region with some great suggestions to get your babies on the water and keep them there with a smile on their face. You're a pro now, Matt, so let's hear it.
I'm learning every day, Bree. I tell you what, it's always an adventure, right, with the kids.
Oh, yeah.
But definitely it's a lot of fun. As a parent myself, there's a special place in my heart for the kids fishing. It's just a great joy watching a little kid reel in a fish and that smile that lights up their face and the memories that come along with it, they'll never forget. It's one of the greatest fulfillments that I get with my job is to be able to take my own children and as many others as I can out fishing for a good time. And, actually this time of the year is when I see the most kids on my boat. July, it's a hot summer month, but it's a fantastic time to get kids out on the water because the weather's kind of stable. Other than a pop-up thunder shower here and there, you got pretty good conditions usually. And, so with those kids, you just have to consider, them. And, of course, like Rick said, don't make them miserable. When it's time to go, just go. But while you're out there, there's some tips I can offer you to maybe help you out a little bit. And one of the things that I seem to do more and more these days is let them swim. It's okay. Let them take a dunk now and then. Also, work in some longer boat rides between your spots. Don't just keep grinding for hours. If they're hot and they're tired, work in a longer boat ride. Let them cool off. You can even pull a tube behind the boat. I've seen people doing that. Pull a tube behind the boat between fishing spots. The kids will be back there swimming off the tube while Dad's up there fishing if the kids want to break. It's okay. Let them fish as they want to. Let them take breaks as they want to. That way they have fun with it. And, of course, you got to bring a lot of snacks and cold drinks for them to enjoy. They love the snacks. The key is just making it fun for them. They're the future of our sport, and we want them to enjoy it, not just for our sake, but for the enjoyment that they can have all of their life, fishing, connecting with nature, in a way they're not going to get if they're sitting inside on a tablet. So don't be afraid to play the radio, have some laughs, and make it fun above all. And I got a photo here for you to kick it off of a couple of young ladies and their dads riding on the boat with me recently. And that one there, you can see she's just grinning so big, and she smiled like that every time the boat would move. It didn't matter if we were idling from one spot to the next or running way down the lake. She was always grinning. So it just goes to show you how much they love those boat rides. She loved the fishing too, and she caught some fish, but man, those boat rides were great for her. So
cute.
Now let's talk about what the fish are doing and how to incorporate the kids into what's hot right now. So I'm going to kick it off with the crappie on my report this week because that's one of the best species for kids, to catch in the Middle Fresh region. And Toledo Bend, where I live, is one of the greatest lakes for that. The crappie fishing here has been a little different this week. It's been changing a little bit because of all the fresh water we had. Had some big rains lately. The lake levels back up a little bit, and it just seems like we're doing this roller coaster still with the up and down water levels. They just won't stay on a downward trend for very long because we've had so much rain. But they're generating a little bit. They're trying to move some water. They're generating off and on. So we're just doing this up again, down again thing, but it's working out. With the water level still up so high this time of year, it just gives the fish a lot more options for good habitat, and so they just move around a little bit more. We're catching them all the way from 15 feet all the way out to 25 feet of water, and the best baits have been a small monkey milk jig like that tiny shad from Bass Assassin or a live minnow. And the key lately has been to just let the bait set really still and let the fish just slowly take it. They haven't been very aggressive, so setting the rod down even or just holding it really still and letting the fish slowly take it is important for hookup success. And I got another photo here for you of little Zachary there. He's got a couple of big Toledo Bend slabs to show you, and that's just another example of a great kid we had this week catching a bunch of crappie and having a blast.
Nice. All right, man. What else you got? Some bass for us this week?
Yeah, let's talk about the largemouth for a minute. We're going to jump over to Sam Rayburn for that one. The water level at Rayburn is actually continuing a downward trend. It's one of the only lakes in the region right now that seems to be doing that steadily. They're pulling on it really hard at the dam. They're generating a lot over there, and it's come down all the way to 3.3 feet below full now. So it's dropped quite a bit in a hurry. The fish really pull out when it falls like this. They're stacking up out on the outer edges of the sharp drops, around the edge of the flats, and at the mouths of the creeks and mouths of the drains. 15 to 25 feet is the productive depth over there, and worms have been the go-to. So y'all check that out, and good luck out there with that this weekend.
All right, thank you so much, Matt. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the Rodan Marine System hotspots. My man Matt says Toledo Bend is putting out some big crappie in 15 to 25 feet of water. Sam Rayburn is pumping out lots of bass also in 15 to 25 feet of water, and the water is getting hotter. But the bite is still really good.
Well, speaking of hotter, summer is fading fast, but the savings are still blazing hot. It's the final days of the Skeeter Blazing Hot Summer Savings Sales Event, and until September 5th, you can save big with up to $5,000 in rebates on select models. Get the Skeeter boat you've been dreaming about across the popular bass, saltwater, and deep V lines. So visit your authorized Skeeter dealer or go to skeeterboats.com for more details. All right, well, it's time to pack the snacks and grab a rod for kid-friendly fishing fun in the Phillips and Jordan Upper Coast and Upper Fresh regions when we come back, so stay with us.
The Texas Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Bass Assassin and Saltwater Assassin, the best lures, period. Berkeley, your fish, our science. Murphy's Law Sport Fishing. Book your trip today at murphyslawsportfishing.com. Abyss Battery. Power your pursuit. Rodan. Set it, forget it, catch more fish. Phillips and Jordan. Building critical infrastructure that matters. Berkeley Pro Spec Chrome. And Penn. Let the battle begin.
Today's Power Pole tip is certainly about the premium brand products that Power Pole has to offer. Now, over the last 25 years, they have certainly created some really cool products. The Charge comes to mind for me, and certainly it saves me a lot of time each day when I can just simply get home, plug in, and not have to worry about watching and maintaining my batteries between trips. The other thing that I think about is how easy it's made my job and my boating experience on a day-to-day basis when I'm actually using the shallow water anchors that they have to offer as well. Remember this, when you're talking about buying a Power Pole product, you're supporting a Florida-based company right here in Tampa. And the thing that I also appreciate about them is how well their customer service and what they have to offer us. It certainly is the best in the industry, so keep that in mind. So on behalf of Power Pole, we want to thank you for supporting Power Pole over the last 25 years. And we also are looking forward to working with you with new products over the next 25 years. And if you have any questions, you can go to powerpole.com, and that's today's Power Pole tip of the week.
Welcome back. The Upper Coast, Phillips and Jordan region has some great places to take the little ones fishing. So let's find out where we're making some of those core memories with Captain Mickey Eastman. Go for it, Mickey.
Well, hello, Bree and Rick. All right, yeah, kids this summer up here, they've really enjoyed some red hot fishing in our area, and for numerous species across the board. And schools, going to be starting up soon. So get your kids out of the house and enjoy some of this great fishing in your area before it's too late. And let's get started with the Phillips and Jordan Upper Coast region here with speckled trout in Galveston Bay. Warmer temperatures, they're changing our patterns pretty quick up here. Fish deeper structure, reefs, deeper rock groins, especially where cooler currents flow, and softer mud and shell mix along a ship channel. They're starting to produce better catches with soft plastics and live shrimp. West Bay still hanging on for topwaters early in the morning for wade fishermen. Soft plastics live bait is another good option, and lower Galveston Bay is turning out good numbers of solid specks, for wade fishermen and drifters out there over the reefs out of Texas City and Mosquito Island and Dollar Flats. Chartreuse silver, bass assassin paddle tails, and live shrimp working best. The North Jetty in Galveston and the Bolivar Pocket, they're holding good numbers of trout over there too, especially on southwest winds. It's a good place to hide. And the bites early to mid-morning, water clarity is good, and 87 degrees. And sliding over to Sabine Lake, conditions are improving daily over there with these good tides. Lower wind speeds and less fresh water. The jetties fished early use live shrimp and soft plastics. They're producing very nice specks, and the lower channel still holding nice fish near the causeway, below the causeway there by Lighthouse Cove and the LNG plant. And fish those ledges along that channel in about 6 to 8 feet of water. Throw soft plastics and pearl and chartreuse for your best results. Water clarity is fair, 89 degrees. Main Lake deep shell producing good trout in 6 to 8 feet of water. And look for birds along that Louisiana shoreline from Blue Buck Point to Garrison Ridge in about 5 to 7 feet of water. The trout are chasing shrimp real early in the morning. And redfish, Galveston Jetty still producing really good numbers of reds, especially slots are coming on live shrimp, red crankbaits, Gulp turbo shrimp, early in the morning, tight to the rocks, and action's been fair to good in lower Galveston Bay, live shrimp and Gulp, and the upper ship channel area, Gulp and turbo shrimp and crankbaits working really good along those rock groins. And Sabine Lake red fishing, it's hanging in there. It's just fair right now, but it'll be a lot better in August. Depending on wind conditions, lower channel areas working good along oyster beds there at Lighthouse Cove and the LNG plant. And Sabine Jetties, they're producing fair numbers of redfish on live shrimp with split shot and treble hook. Water conditions are fair to good, 87 degrees. And Getting back to our speckled trout photo, that's courtesy of Outcast Charters in Galveston. That young man caught him a really big trout. And the redfish photo this week, that's Brooks Hilton fishing with Captain Steve Hillman. And sliding out to the offshore, man, it's picking up out there. Dolphin catches are really good right now out of Galveston with good numbers of chicken dolphin along weed lines, and an occasional 20 to 30 pound dolphin also are showing up. Tuna's been good around the deep rigs way out early in the morning hours just after daylight, and snapper fishing is still good around 50 to 60 miles over hard spots and rocks. Lean fishing is fair, and some sailfish are being caught, and kingfish are starting to heat up, but shark fishing near shore, it's red hot. And our offshore photos this week, the dolphin photos courtesy of Outcast Charters out of Galveston, and the shark photo also, that's Outcast Charters in Galveston.
All right, Mickey, thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots from the Upper Coast region. Mickey says Lower Galveston Bay, West Bay, and Sabine Lake remains hot for speckled trout. Offshore continues to produce good numbers of all species, and the shark fishing, it's on fire.
Love those sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. All right, summer is here and we'll be gone before you know it. So it's time to get your young anglers out on the water in the Upper Fresh region with Mike McFarland. Tell us why you love fishing with the kids so much, Mike.
No. Hey, Bree. Hey, Captain. I'm so excited to be here every time. I am like a kid. Look at me. But this is my favorite theme. I loved fishing when I was a little 4-year-old boy, and let me tell you, kids can fish. So here's the deal. They're so good at what this patience and fishing what time. Every time I have one on my boat, it's absolutely amazing. So father and son, mother and daughter, it doesn't matter how it goes down on my boat. It's a special blessing. We're going to have a good time. We laugh, we learn, we catch good fish or we don't catch fish. It's always amazing. Now, here's the neat thing. When you see them on Lake Fork wrestling with one of these giant big bass and the look on their face when it's in the net, that's the best part of being a fishing guy. There's no better reward than that. And here's the thing that's going to blow your mind. Here in Texas, there is over 3,500 high school anglers throughout teams and high schools across the state in the 4 different regions. All these kids are trying to reach, greatness as maybe a scholarship in college or even a pro career. This is truly amazing, this new generation of youth anglers, and they're really going to lead us into the future of what not just bass fishing has to offer, but all fishing. Technology is right up their avenue. The new kids in these days, the young kids, you'll be amazed at how well they take to fishing. Let's tell you about some fishing now. Lake Fork, it's doing really well. It's still 4 inches over cool. It's about 85 to 89 degrees. The bass are eating brim-colored frogs early morning around vegetation. Lily pad areas are best. After 8 a.m., look to those main lake points, ledges, and humps, 14 to 22 foot of water. The 3/4 ounce Berkley PB&J, that's peanut butter and jelly. That football jig and peanut butter and jelly, or the 11-inch bass assassin worm in plum or green pumpkin. Lake Welsh, guide David Ocio says Welsh is so hot, it is on fire. They're catching 100 fish a day, but it's literally 109 degrees. It's a power plant lake. Great numbers with little drop shot worms. The Berkley Max scent, trick worms, purple plum, any like red color. Bring lots of water if you're going to drink it. Possum Kingdom here. Again, bass are really good around the lights, main lake points, top waters early morning. And then move in offshore again to that 3/4 ounce PB&J colored Berkley football jig. Or again, the Max scent trick worm, 7 inches best. Cream pumpkin's probably your best color with a dip tail chartreuse. And then here's right with our theme. This is Miss Possum Kingdom right here. A couple great picks with Pete. And look, these kids are catching fish.
Nice. All right. All right, tell us about the crappie as well.
Crappie. All right, crappie. Jackie says that they're loaded up on the brush piles, lay down specific trees. Best depths really are 14 to 24, but he's fishing all the water column from all the way down. He's downside to small minnows, small hand-tied baits, smaller plastics. Weeding through a lot of small fish to get the best fish, but the good news is those small fish grow really fast. They grow 14 inches in 1 year here in Texas, so crappie fishing's hot, and here's Jackie on Lake Fork filling the tables. Great eats right here.
All right, what else you got on LeBon?
I got stripers on white bass on LeBon with Kerry Thorne. They're really good, 15 to 20 feet. Main lake points all day long, 1 ounce slab spoons. And then Tawakoni, the hybrids are really good there as well, but it's early morning. You got to start out with live bait on humps, anywhere from 22 to 35 foot. Lake Tawakoni, you get limits real fast, 15 to 20, maybe 30 minutes, and you're done. And then sand bass the rest of the day offshore, 8 to 12-foot spoons. And here's Matt filling up the freezers.
All right, bub, way to go. We appreciate everything.
Thank
You
you.
got a little catfish for us?
Sure, I can throw a little catfish in here. It's hot. It's any lake, anywhere. You don't need to chum. Just go fishing with some tub bait. Any one of the upper fresh region lakes. You will not believe how many catfish you will catch.
All right, man. Mike, it was really good to see you tonight. We appreciate
Yes, sir.
reporting from the Texas.
Upper fresh.
Thanks for having me.
No, but his
Studio
studio.
T.
Studio
T.
T.
Studio
See?
T.
Yeah, Studio T. Good job, bub. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots. Got to go. And he says the big bass and giant crappie bite is hot on Lake Fork. It's easy limits of hybrids, stripers, or white bass on Tawakoni. Catfish are literally biting everywhere in the upper fresh region. It's on fire, Bree.
It's on fire.
On fire.
All right, love to hear it. We're casting and catching where the bite is on and the kids are ready in the Project's Middle Coast region coming right up. But first, Dave Farrell is on at the Parts View workbench for Taco Marine New Products. I hear you're going to have a special guest with you.
Yes, we are. We got the Rodan guy coming in here. He's going to tell us all about the new Rodan.
Oh.
We got Boat Outfitters who's going to show us some new cool thing that they made for Rick.
Oh.
Humminbird with a really cool electronics.
Very nice. Can't wait to hear all about it. We'll be right back.
The Texas Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Abu Garcia, Fish to Win, Fenwick, Feel Everything, Berkeley Pro Spec Chrome, Heroes on the Water, Paddle, Fish, Heel, Turn on the Bite anytime, Tie on a Mirrolure, Front Runner Boats, performance-built offshore fishing boats made in the USA, and Startron. Start, run, and store with Startron.
So it's time to troll the edge with Taco Marine here at the Parts View workbench. Eric Steele from Rodan is here with us. You know, Eric, let's talk a little bit about the Gen 5 motor. It was introduced late last year, and it is here on the set of the Texas Insider Fishing Report. What do you got?
Absolutely. So one thing we like to pride ourselves at Rodan with the new Gen 5 motor is the fact that it is 90% US content. Majority of that 90% is built under one roof in Sarasota, Florida at our facility. It starts with our SMT lines that build all of our electronics that go into the board, as well as our machine shop, which has got multiple CNC machines to build things like our 3/16 stainless steering box, shafts, and everything else from that aspect. So,
Well, speaking of shafts, what shaft links do we have to offer?
So we offer shaft links from 48 inch all the way up to 108 inch, and that goes by 12, so we can pretty much suit any boat from a small skiff to a bay boat all the way up to the 50-foot class with the dual concept what the guys are starting to use for deep drop-in and that kind of thing.
You said 120, or did I hear you say 180?
Oh yeah, 120 inch, yeah, absolutely. So that's the longest on the market.
So I just saved your job.
That's
Just
crazy.
kidding you. But you know, what colors does it come in?
Comes in white and black. There's no difference there. All saltwater rated, so they're all built to the same spec. My 120 inch motors are built to the same spec as my 48 inch motors, so my guys with the little boats are really going to benefit from that robust system that we've taken things to the next level.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about, I've seen a lot of cat boats with dual Rodans. How does that work, Eric?
So what we're going to do is we're going to make one of these motors a primary motor and one a secondary motor by getting onto the Rodan app. We can easily select that when we want to use multiple functions, and what that'll allow is both motors to work off of one GPS, off of one command for more accuracy and more efficiency.
Man. All right, so what am I forgetting? Anything? What about the warranty? The best in the business?
Yeah, best in the business when it comes to warranty. We back it with a 3-year warranty. All of our parts come out of Sarasota, Florida. I've seen us stop production to keep up with parts for what's in the field, so we go above and beyond for our customers that need to be looked after.
And you got those really cool new sliding mounts as well.
Yep. So standard with the motor, we're going to have a puck that gives us about 10 inches of slide front to back.
Right.
And then we've also got an optional SRQ bracket, which is not only going to give us that 10 inches of slide, but it's also going to give us 360 rotation. And we've got a locking point on the stowed position as well as the deployed position. That way we're fastened in all assets when we're running through chop or whether we're using the motor for anchoring.
What website?
RodanMarine.com, and feel free to visit the dealer locator, and you can look up all your local dealers as well.
Wonderful job, Eric. So, Dave, we're going to talk a little bit about Boat Outfitters.
Yeah, what's really cool about Boat Outfitters is, they make a lot of parts for a lot of boat companies. And, not only do they stock a ton of things like hinges and latches and just about everything that that goes on a boat, but they can also, if you call them up like you did and say, hey, man, I've got this hatch, I'd like to put some boxes in. They went ahead and built you this box. It's one of the things that they'll do for anybody. They call them up and say, hey, I need this, and they'll just build it. If they don't have it, they can make it. And, everything's made out of starboard. This hatch organizer is great for adding storage inside your hatch lid. It comes with, all the tackle trays as well. But, it fits all the ones that you have. Offers quick access to all your lures and tackle. It's cut out so it, saves some weight. Right. And it's made from King starboard material, super durable, easy to clean. Great for the marine environment. Nothing can hurt it.
So I went online and they had one that was twice this size. It was $8. And I went to put it in my hatch, in my Chittama, the 21 Chittama, and it was this much too long. This is what makes these guys so special.
Exactly.
Dude, I called them up. I said, it's a little too long. Can you make? And they said, we'll make you the 2 individuals. So now I have both of them in, because once I get this one in, I slide it forward and put the second one beside it. What I love, Dave, I can take it out and take this if I'm using Ridge's boat. If Ridge is using my boat, we can share these boxes, which works very well.
Right, yeah. And
where do we go to find out?
You just go to boatoutfitters.com, and they have just about everything that you could want, everything that you want for your boat.
Tell me about the Humminbird Explorer 10. I have a 12 on my boat. Ridge has a 10 on his. Love it.
This is the Humminbird Explorer 10. It's a full HD display with cross-touch interface. Really eye-popping detail. This thing has a 1280 high by 720 vertical pixel display. Uses a touch screen or the keypad, whichever you prefer. Some guys don't like touching on their screen, so you can use the keypad if you want. It's got Mega Side Plus imaging, which gives you 200-foot range on either side, which is 60% more range than the other ones, 20% more detail as well. It's got the Mega Down Imaging Plus. It's got the dual spectrum chip sonar, and it comes with a really nice transducer for that as well. Again, highly detailed fish arcs and clear view of the bottom and fish holding structure. It's just really high quality machine.
One little thing to add. The side imaging, because of the patents, are 8 years ahead of everybody else because they were the first ones to come out.
Right, and it comes with the internal GPS and all the Humminbird maps for like 10,000 lakes.
That's right.
And the coastal United States.
Humminbird.com?
Humminbird.com.
All right, thank you so much. Good job over here tonight there, Davey.
Yes, Davey, good job. All right, summer's the perfect time for some Yamaha Repower finance offers. From now until September 30th, 2025, purchase a new eligible Yamaha outboard to get rates as low as 6.99% APR for 72 months when financed through Yamaha. For purchases made on the Yamaha credit card, get intro rates as low as 2.99% for 36 months, then 15.99% to 23.99% APR thereafter. Visit YamahaOutboards.com for complete details. But you know what? Time is of the essence in the Prosec's Middle Coast region, and Captain Bink Grimes is giving us some tips for getting those young guns out on the water and reeling in that summer smile. So go for it, Bink.
Hey, this time of summer we get a lot of kids and families on our boat. One last trip before football practice. School starts in early August. I'm an artificial guy, but MirrOlures, Bass Assassin, Gulf, Stop Dog, She Dog, something. I like to throw them, but there comes a time when you can't argue with the fish, and that time is now. Especially with the kids on the boat. It's July, water temps are 85 or better, and the fish wants the real thing. Live bait's a summertime staple along the Middle Coast. I can catch fish drifting on soft plastics at East Bay, but a live shrimp under a popping cork will catch speckled trout 10-1 right now. Keep those kids busy, teach them how to cast, set the hook, work the fish to the net, and then teach them how to respect the water and the value of catch and release to every fishery. That's just something we got to do for these kids. Now let's get to our trout reports. In Port O'Connor, grass flats next to Pasco and the jetty have been good on Bass Assassin topwater. Incoming tide's been best. Hot action around Cole Pass and San Luis Pass has been good on topwaters. And Palacios shorelines and guts are holding trout over sand and grass. That North Shoreline reef will be good around the barge and Coon Island. Same patterns holding along the south shoreline of West Matagorda Bay. Reefs and sand and grass pockets are holding trout on incoming tide on MirrOlures sheep ups. And Rockport Bass Assassins continue to coach trout on shorelines around Mud Island and Trailer Island. That incoming tide's been good around Super Flat, around Port Aransas as well. Topwaters over sand and grass has been the solid ticket. East Matagorda Bay has been best on salt and pepper dragon tail, gulps fished on, and also Bass Assassins both fished on chartreuse jig heads. That Gulf Turbo shrimp under a cork in the camo color and the new penny color has worked well for trout to 5 pounds. Our water's been off color with the low tides and the westerly wind, but hold on and expect bigger trout to come when we finally get some green water this week. Our winds are about to calm down, and man, we're really looking forward to it. Redfish action in Matagorda. Most boaters are hitting points and structures along the south shoreline with live shrimp. Others are finding redfish while drifting for trout. Many redfish have fallen off the shoreline to that deeper shell with our lower tides. Look for slicks in the middle of the bay and set up drifts of wind. Our tides are about 2 foot below normal, and all those redfish on the shorelines are now in the middle of the bay. We're keying in on slicks and getting behind them and drifting. It's been tough to stay on a good bite with all this low water, but winter haunts like the Deep Guts and Bios are holding most of the redfish right now. Those same places you fished in January and February with the low tides, we're fishing those right now for redfish. Photo there, that's Graylin Pumple El Campo. She caught this redfish in East Matagorda Bay. Her father brought me a pound of Proscick's jerky that morning, which was even better. He lives about two miles from Proscick, so he hooked me up pretty good. Offshore action, swordfish action. Michael Beckett said swordfish remain steady about 80 miles out. Weather's made it conducive for these long runs for swords. Red snapper continue to impress about 80 foot of water. Cobia beginning to show as well. That Texas Gulf Shrimp opened July 15th, so there's lots of shrimp boats out there. Look for those shrimp boats culling and make a few casts after the boat. Lots of sharks should be around, as well as kingfish. That's another great week along the Proscick's Middle Coast region. Thanks to all the anglers who are releasing more they take. Our new attitudes are forming, our fisheries improving. Thanks to all those great products like Power Pole and Rodan trolling boaters, man, they're just wonderful. These products really make life a whole lot better on the water, and we're looking forward to a really great week.
So, Bink, I gotta ask you, all this fresh water, is that gonna help or hurt your teal season that you got coming up here in September?
Does nothing but help. But what it's doing is freshened up our marsh and allowed aquatics to grow like widgeon grass and naiad grass. It's done nothing but just add groceries to it's going to be really, really good.
All right, man. Well, I hope you get a little bit of cool weather before that gets here, but nevertheless, cast and blast is what you do at the Sunrise Lodge, so we're grateful for everything that you help us with each and every week. Thank you so much, bud. And now I understand that we could probably buy a charter with Bink with bartering Proscick's meats.
Yes.
All right, bud. We'll talk to you later. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the MirrOlure Middle Coast hotspots. He says inshore, trout are biting while waiting with Bass Assassins in the guts and channels with the falling tide. Redfish are at the jetties and the fresh menhaden and offshore. Red snappers are good offshore, 60 to 80 feet of water. Boom.
Boom.
Done.
Good job. All right, well, gentlemen, as we wrap things up, it's time to take a look at what you've been reeling in from the Gulf to the lakes and the creeks. Here's what's popping up on the Seas social this week. Let's take a look. What is going on?
That's the world's largest worm.
Oh my gosh! What is that?
I saw that at ICAST.
I did
That's
too.
the world's largest.
Wait, I did.
Now that's a Texas rig right there.
They make them bigger in Texas, gentlemen. Yes, they do.
Here's what I'm going to say. We bring that to the Gulf, and you could get a Goliath grouper to eat that
Oh,
thing.
sure.
my
And then
gosh.
it would be like the ultimate bass catch.
That would be.
Send it
300
down.
pounder with that in his
Send it.
mouth.
With
I'll
the
have
camera,
something on it.
please.
You send it.
All right,
I'll
got
have
a fishing
something
clip we're
That's
sharing. Send it our way. Scan the QR code or drop it in our DMs for a chance to be featured on Seize the Social. But that was a great show, guys. It's all about the kids, the future of fishing.
Yes.
Get those kids out there, pack the snacks, bring the fun. Like some of the captains said, keep them cool. Do a boat ride, let them jump in the water, depending on where you are.
And all of us being parents, we all agree that when they're done,
They're
just
done.
let them be done.
Yeah.
Just let them be
It's a
done.
different kind of fishing trip, but rewarding at the same time.
I used to bribe my boys with ice cream.
Just do a lot of
Everybody
bribe
eats
me
ice
with
do a
ice
lot
cream.
of exploring.
All right, guys, thanks so much. We'll see you next week on the Texas Insider Fishing Report. High five to one parent to another.
How
Adios.
about down low?
Such a child.